Hello everybody, my name is Alan from Sauber-Lab, and in this video we'll make the follow question. Do you really need a server in your home? Okay, it's a little bit open this question, but I will specify a little bit more. In a previous video I explained that you really need a server and try to convince you to have a server. But then, why you ask me these questions? It's simple, it's because not necessary that you need to have a server in your home. You can have a server in a data center once you build some components for you and live in the data center, and other option you can have a VPS that will manage everything. So in this video we're going to explain a little bit more about it, what's its pros and cons, and in which situation that you would like to have a VPS, which situation that you would like to have a proper server in data center, or which consideration that you're going to have a server in your house. So, if you like this idea and want to learn a little bit more about it, we're gonna show in this video. But first of all, don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and let's understand a little bit more about it. As I asked in the start of the video, you really need a server in your home? So the answer is maybe. You have a few options around it if you really don't want to have a server in your home, or if you start all this process. So the first option is have a data center. So you can have your server, principally if you're gonna choose it, you need to have a rack in one, because you can pay for rack, not for a full space. So if you have a computer and you want to choose storage, will be unnecessary cost. It's interesting to have a rack. And that with this you're gonna pay electricity, and some of the data center they have a bandwidth. So if you consume more than, let's say, 10 terabytes or 15 terabytes of data, they will start to charge you extra for it. So in the end the costs build up and you needed to invest everything in a good system in the first place. The second option, and what I will advise, principally if you are starting all these trials and you want to understand a little bit more, is to have a VPS. The VPS, it's quite cheap. You can have something that you can install, disinstall, have multiple ones, and that if you guys come here on my screen, I have one example. Here this example, you can have as cheap as 1 gigabyte. You can have as cheap as £1 per month, what allowed you 1 vCore or 1 vCPU, 1 gigabyte of RAM, and 10 gigabytes of storage. And if you go a little bit higher, you can have big amounts of memory RAM, big amounts of CPUs, and a little bit bigger storage. But always on the VPS have a limitation of storage, because most of them will have maximum 1 terabyte, and you're gonna pay a lot of this. You can have 4 cores and will be more than enough for you, or 2 cores, depending on your application, will be more than enough for you, but the storage is really short or small. This reason that come the other option, you can have a storage box. In my page I have one example of storage box, what you're gonna pay around $4.85 a month, and that's allowed you to give 1 terabyte. What is the problem for this? If you don't sign the VPS, the same provider that you have your storage box, you're gonna have some extra latency. So in this option, if you connect both together, you can use SMB, and that's it's basically linked for you. But if not, you're gonna need to use rclone or use FPS or other system of traffic to give this connection between your storage box and your VPS, what to increase the latency. Let's say that my VPS is UK and that this storage box in German. One example is German one, so they will have this latency to get the data in German, and that's pushback for your VPS, and your VPS will process all this data and give it for you. Principally if you're gonna do a media, will not affect so much, but if you're gonna do something else, you're gonna start to see these delays. Principally if you're gonna have this VPS as a SMB for your computer, and that you wanted to have access for it, you're gonna see a little bit more the latency, the time to get this data traffic from one place to another. But if you're gonna start your journey in the servers, is the best option, because you can try. You can get a VPS, you can try and see how it's working, and that in the end you can make a decision if it's really something that you like to do and you are keen to spend that money, that time and everything for make it better for you. Other thing, if you wanted to make, let's say, a media server, VPS can work, but let's say 1 terabyte will be not enough to keep all your media. Also, if you want to start to transcode, it will be the worst thing, because VPSs normally don't have high capacity for transcode. You have only CPUs, not GPUs, and normally GPUs is better for transcode, CPUs is better for general applications, not only for video, for media. So you're gonna see a little bit effect for it. Also, if you start to go for the high tiers, you're gonna spend a little bit more. So if I come here back, I have the option of 20 terabytes of data, and that will cost you $55 a month. Don't seem so much, but if you put in perspective, one hard drive that you can get for 12 terabytes, you can pay around 228. So I put here my schematic. So if I have 4 hard drives, each one with 12 terabytes, and you do RAID 5, in the end you're gonna pay around $912 or 912 pounds to have this system only with hard drive setup. But it will give you a usable space of 32 terabytes. If you think that you're gonna pay 55 pounds per month, in 17 months you're gonna pay this storage. And consider that those hard drive that shows the plus option that give you 5 years warranty. Not necessarily these 5 years the hard drive will stop to work, but they give at least 5 years that if you use the maximum limit of read and write, this hard drive will still working. You're gonna have this hard drive free of charge after 43 months. After this one, not consider the hardware, after this time you basically pay all this storage. And this reason that's become questionable. If you want to have a full-time 20/7 and you don't want to stress about anything, yes, VPS could be the best option with storage box, because you don't need to do a backup of your hardware. You don't need to worry about if one hard drive stops to work and continue on, but you have some penalty for it. So what's the main penalty in my view will be speeds. So if you consider that your internet not necessarily that will have 1 gigabyte of speeds, and your VPS could have 1 gigabyte, when you start to transfer data, principally with SNB, you're gonna have a little bit lost of speed, because the bottleneck will be your home internet. Unless you have 1 gigabyte download and upload, then you're gonna not see so much difference, because most of the network in the house is based on 1 gigabyte, so you limit it or arrive in your limits of your network speeds, so will not feel so much. Only thing that you're gonna feel is the latency. Depending where is this located, you're gonna take some time to have this data copy for a server and traffic until your location. As I told, the second one will be space, what will cost quite a lot for a large amount of space, but you can always go around it. 1 terabyte could be enough, and you're gonna pay in the end around 10 pounds per month, and that you can have this system running with your media server, and that you need only to clean. Sometimes you don't be able to keep everything there, you need to watch what you want, get rid of it, and put another video that you want to watch and continue on what's possible. And the third thing is transcode. If you have a proper computer or proper server in your house, you can put a GPU, you can have some CPU that have rsyncs, and that will translate code much better than if you have only a CPU. Of course, if you don't need it to transcode, will be better, because will be direct transmission. If your media is based on Full HD and your TVs run Full HD, so will not feel anything, because you don't need to transcode. If your media it's based on 4K and one of TVs only have 1080p, then you're gonna have a problem, because they will not transcode, they will not run, they will not do anything. So in the end, what's the question? It's worth or not? As I told, it depends. If you want a high speed, if you are get everything in your house and you wanted to learn things, how to set up it and how to save money if you don't want to keep it on all the time, yes, you can do with your home server, but you cannot do with VPS. After you decide what kind of setup that you want, then come the simple part. You can have Debian install, you can have Ubuntu install, and then you can install OpenMediaVault on the top, or you can only install all the Dockers, and that's Portainer, and that's all your Docker applications like Plex, jellyfin and other things that will make your system, doesn't matter if it's a virtual system or a physical system, will be exactly the same setup. So in this video that I post, I will put a link in the description. I show how you can install Plex in a Oracle Cloud instance or Oracle Cloud VPS, and they work really well, no problem at all, and that will be exactly the same steps that you need to take in the case that you gonna do anything in a VPS or in a physical storage or physical system. Only difference that if you go, let's say, Synology NAS, you can install container management and run everything in Synology. If you go for a computer in your house, you install OpenMedia Vault, through NAS and others. If you go for VPS, you need to have as a baseline Debian, and that you can install everything in the top of this. So in this way, I hope that help you to decide if you need or not to have your system in your house, and if you don't need, go for a system that is physical. You don't need to go so fast, but you need to have in mind that you have this initial cost, and if it's not something that you really like, don't spend this money. Try first in a VPS, try first to see if you like it's for you, and after this one you can do whatever you want. So I hope that you guys like this video. If you like this video and think that was interesting, please don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and see you next time. Bye.